Hello, everybody. Today I'm going to talk pretty much just off the cuff about my experiences with mimicking people's voices and not mimicking people's voices, the drawbacks, the good things, the bad things. So if you want to hear about that, everybody shut up. I'm going to sing stuff. I'm not actually going to sing stuff, but I do love this sign. We're going to do it. Here we go. And I tried so hard to heal this wound, this pain I feel. So one of my friends and students, Wes, made this sign for me. It's tremendous. As many of you know, I say this pretty much every time. I think his website's called nerdables.com. I'm going to put a link in the description, but he can make you basically a sign that lights up from pretty much anything, and I think it's hilarious and tremendous, and thank you, sir. So, okay, we're going to get into this. Now, as many of you may know from me, being on this channel for, I don't know fucking how long, 16 years or something, I've sang a lot of things. I've mimicked a lot of people. I've sang stuff in my style and people's styles and all kinds of stuff. And I'm in a cover band here in Florida that I joined just to kind of keep testing this stuff out. And I got to sing most of the time for about 3.5 hours a night. So I've definitely put this to the test in terms of what it's like to mimic as people's voices to this song, to this song, to this song, to this song, and for a long period of time. So I definitely know what it's like to really test this stuff out in terms of the extremes of it, and just, the good things about it and the bad things about it. So first of all, most people are going to be probably coming to something like this just to know, like, should I be doing this? And my answer would most likely be yes. I think that it's very good to mimic other people's voices. We obviously don't want to just arrive at that and be like, I'm going to sound like this person all the time. But weirdly enough, you'll find that a lot of people are mimicking their inspirations. They're mimicking the people that they love. And then as they continue to do that, similar to making music or playing guitar, they kind of get into their own pocket and become their own person. But again, we don't tend to just, fucking Billie Eilish talked about that here recently, where she might have just been singing like this person for the most part, and people could notice that she was just singing like this inspiration of hers, and then she starts to find her own thing. What that ends up being about at the end of the day, and what all of this whole lesson here is going to be about, is that you want to find something that's quickly and easily replicatable for you so that you can relax into it, whether that's distortion, screaming, belting, whatever. At the end of the day, you want to be able to relax into those things. So I'll talk about that more as I continue to get into this. But let's talk about the good things about mimicking people first. Now, again, you're going to find plateaus everywhere in your musical journey, whether it's guitar, drums, whatever, especially vocally, and you're going to feel like you can't move past that. A lot of times mimicry and listening to other people and trying other things is going to push you past that. You're going to be stuck in singing the same way, or maybe doing the same runs or the same type of style, and then you're going to listen to somebody else and be like, oh. And some of that's going to be added to your repertoire. So what a great word. So having said that, pushing yourself outside of the boundaries of what you're comfortable with is almost always a good thing in terms of life. That's the spice of life. The variety, and adding that variety and pushing yourself outside of that comfort zone. And ironically, it could actually make you find something that's more comfortable for your voice, that your voice likes more than maybe what you've already been doing. Maybe you've been forcing yourself into a box or crowbarring your voice into a certain style that your voice doesn't really like very much. I've done videos about unhealthy singing versus healthy singing, and there's a lot of people that just turn something on muscularly that their voice does not like. But then again, this is the internet, and a lot of people can get away with a lot of things because they only have to do it for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes on the internet, and they don't have to go out and do it in front of people. And I was one of those people too. I had these professional musicians hitting me up because they saw stuff on the internet that I did, and they're like, join my band, you want to do this, do you want to write with me? And then I had to realize that I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. And that's how this entire thing started, where I went down the rabbit hole of actually figuring out how to sing, because I knew that deep down I was full of shit and I had imposter syndrome, and I couldn't maintain what I was doing. So anyway, again, pushing yourself outside of those comfortable boundaries is super important, I think. And again, every time you feel like you're at a limit, even myself now, after 16 years or however long I've been doing this at more of a professional level, I still find new things I can do with my voice, new ways to force myself into something and then relax into that. So hopefully you'll continue to do that too. As you mimic people's voices, sometimes you might find somebody that when you mimic them, your voice becomes more free and relaxed, and you don't know why. And then other people, you find that it's more restricted and it just doesn't sound as good or doesn't work as well, or your voice gets tired. Me, for example, I found that every time I mimicked Chris Cornell, my voice tended to feel more like it was at home. What do I mean by that? It means that I was able to turn it on and more comfortably be in a pocket that felt natural to me. And then if I did something like Chester Bennington, every time it was wearing me out, it was more tiring, I couldn't really get there as much, and it just sucked. So if we listen to my speaking voice or we listen to my singing voice in just a small, simple way here, listen for the Cornell type quality if you know who he is, hopefully you do. So you can hopefully already see that just my natural has a lot of that in there. So when I continued to sing like him, even throughout high range and everything, my voice was more in a position that it liked being in. And again, at the end of the day, we want to get to a place with everything that we're doing where we're turning it on, and then we're turning it off, we're turning it on, and we know what it feels like to turn it on. We don't have to spend a half an hour or an hour getting there and being like, I think this is the thing I want to do. We want to get to a place where we're like, this is me. This is where I feel best. This is what's working. Even if I take this a step farther, when you're starting to record your own songs or record whatever you're recording, we want to get to a place faster where we're hearing our voice through the microphone, and we're getting to a place that we recognize as this is me. Because it's infinite, especially if you're somebody like me that can mimic a lot of people and move your voice around in all kinds of ways. So dumb. We want to get to a place where we can hear us and know, okay, that's home for me. And we're going to move inside of that, outside of that, around that, or whatever, but we always want to maintain and come to home. Think about it another quick weird way. If I start a song out and I'm singing like what I feel like is home, but I don't completely know about that, and we wrap around to finish the song, say I record it in sections, which most people do. Verse, then chorus, maybe I do this verse 5 times, then I circle back to a pre-chorus. I want to know that when I get to the end of the song that I'm still in that zone of what felt normal to me to begin with, so that I don't have a different voice here and a different voice here. Simple stuff to talk about, still not easily replicatable. But again, at the end of the day, mimicking people can completely change your perspective. Here's another part of this. When I started hearing and practicing nasality, I started recognizing how much my voice liked that, how much it was freeing up my voice, and how much before, and even when I was learning it, it felt restricted until I learned how to relax into it. For another example, if I teach somebody nasality, a lot of times they're often going, you want me to sing like this? That doesn't make any sense. But if I take and I relax, is high larynx, is tight, is smaller. You don't need to be forced into it or restricted. Again, we can take these qualities even in terms of belting or distortion, and we relax into them. Even when they seem like they're super like this, we can take them, and our job is to take them and see how long we can sustain them, how much longevity there is in that coordination that we're using, or that mode, or that throat position, whatever, and relax into it. Sometimes you'll see people like Celine Dion hit a high belted note, and you'll see her adjust her posture and her vowel shape so that she can relax into it. So it's not just just like this fucking like, here we go. It's and then we have to completely kind of get into a relaxed position so that the body can do what it needs to do without us being like like this. Does that make sense? All right, let's talk about some of the drawbacks from this. Like I said, this is off the cuff, as I tend to do, because you guys know how much I like cuffs and being off of them. So let's talk about the drawbacks. First of all, you can stay in an infinite loop. If you're a musician like me, we all know this terrible buy more plugins, buy another guitar, buy more gear, I'm just not ready yet. That shit ruins music, it ruins your life. You need to make things. You're only going to get better by making things. Yeah, you'll get better by using more plugins or going down that rabbit hole in certain ways, but at the end of the day, you're only delaying the inevitable, which is that you need to make shit. You need to try. You need to use this. So if you continue to circle this thing where you're sounding like this person, and then you can sound like that person, but then sometimes it's saying like this person or whatever, and then you really want to make your own music, or really get your own style, yes, there's a chance that you're going to continue to just fucking flutter around in the ether and not completely zone in on what's yours. Again, the point of all of this singing stuff is to arrive at something that feels relaxed, that feels natural, that feels like it's you. And again, whether you're deciding or you're comfortable, there's a big difference, but you can still get some of the deciding in there. What I mean by that is I'm speaking to you in a typical American, I grew up in Pennsylvania accent. But if I was super into country music, I might decide, well, the road rolls out like a welcome mat, that I'm going to put on this kind of thing right here. I'm going to sing with more of a country accent, but then I don't speak like that. That happens all the time. And that's a decision. My voice might not necessarily like me to decide to do something on a muscular level that's not natural for me, like it is right now. Well, the road, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Chris Stapleton's amazing, by the way. I'll reference him later. But there's comfortable, and then there's people deciding, this is my voice. The more we decide, and we kind of crowbar ourselves into these styles and things like that, sometimes it can get unnatural, and it can be unsustainable. At the end of the day, how much is it giving you freedom? How much is it you're able to relax into it? How much are you able to replicate it each time? That's the important thing. So again, as we're getting into people's voices, you can circle the drain and just never decide what your voice is, but know that at the end of the day, it's about relaxing and getting into what you consider to be your voice and what feels natural to you. Again, it does not have to be a decision. It doesn't have to be like, I'm deciding this. It can be a feeling. It can be, and I think it should be at the end of the day. It should be based on feeling, not about, deciding these things. Anyway, as I mentioned, Chester Bennington, if I was trying to sing like him, I noticed that my voice was not working well. I noticed that I was lacking longevity and having trouble sustaining these things, having trouble just staying in that pocket. So I know that at the end of the day, it was not as good for my voice. For him, some of these notes that he's continuously going to are in a pocket in his biology, in his body, that feel natural, and he's continuously pushing into those, and it feels natural. For me, it does not feel natural, so I have to keep manipulating my throat and twisting things around to get there. Again, if you continue to hit up against these walls, you should know after a while, my voice doesn't like doing this as much. Now, in terms of singing like people across hours and manipulating your voice, you're going to continue to find your voice likes some things and your voice doesn't like some things. And that's across the board in terms of screaming, distortion, everything. Not just mimicry and chest voice. We're talking about across the whole spectrum. Some things, and this is complicated, but it shouldn't be that complicated in terms of the way I'm explaining it. But think about picking up a weight off the ground. Let's say I have a weight on the ground. It's a 40-pound weight. It's decently heavy. I'm going to pick it up like this. Some people might have stronger arm muscles in their tricep area or something like that. And that might engage more when they go to pick that up. Some people might have stronger back muscles from who fucking knows. All kinds of different things. But for everybody, it's going to be a similar yet different experience. If I warmed these muscles up and I went to the gym before this, which I did, those muscles might engage more and lift more from the weight than my back, because these muscles are warmed up, which goes into warming up and warming up correctly versus not correctly. All these different things get into the biology of how your body's set up, how your throat's set up, how you're singing correctly, how you're warming up, all these different things. Again, though, if certain things are stronger in my body than another person's body, we're having a different experience every single time you go to pick up that weight. Singing other people's songs gets a little bit into that position where certain things are going to work and react better and certain things aren't. So you're going to find that forcing to get into certain sounds and stuff may wear you out more and may kind of stretch out your throat, wear out your throat in a weird way that's not healthy. And then other ones will continue to strengthen that coordination. Again, for Cornell, for me, as I continue to do most of the things that I hear him do, it tends to not only stretch my voice, but kind of empower me, not mentally, like, this is neat. Physically, as I mimic him, my voice continues to understand what I'm throwing at it and get stronger. And again, I'm not talking about over weeks or months. Yes, maybe, but I'm talking about during that song, during that day, during that whatever. You'll find other ones where your voice doesn't like to do that, and your voice starts to kind of tank. It gets tired, your chords split apart, etc., etc. Keep yourself mindful of those things and keep paying attention to it. Again, the more you can kind of sit into a pocket that feels right for you and kind of get a little bit out of the mimicry or something. Another great example is Ozzy Osbourne. I gotta sing Ozzy Osbourne songs. He would be considered to me as more high larynx, horizontal as fuck, and bright and high. Very bright, front of the face. I'm going off the rails on the crazy train. I have to almost go like, if I go like this the whole time, I can sing more like Ozzy. Times have changed, times have changed, here I come, but I ain't the same. Mama, I'm coming home, my voice is right here, and I gotta kind of maintain that. My voice, if you listen to me speak, doesn't want to do that. So I can do it, I can get away with it, but afterwards, a lot of times, like Crazy Train, it's high, and it's forcing me into a place that my voice doesn't want to go. So afterwards, it might be more like, that kind of did a little bit of not necessarily damage. It's just hard to do. So anyway, I've talked at length about this. I said I was going to mention Chris Stapleton, so I'll kind of end with this. Again, when I talked about learning new things all the time and pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone, I learned with Chris Stapleton not too long ago. I was trying to sing like Tennessee Whiskey because the band wanted me to sing that, and everybody loves that song, including me. It's a great song. But he's got this great distortion that doesn't necessarily, and when he started out, it was more clean to distorted. But as he got better, it's like a knob. The higher he goes, the more it gets into distortion. The lower he goes, it kind of turns off. So it's literally this wonderful knob. And as you get more and more into distortion and doing it healthy, that's a great thing to learn how to try to do instead of it just being like this. So I was trying to sing Tennessee Whiskey, and he has this fucking high part in the end of the middle of the song. Of course, everybody knows it. Whoa, which I'm not even that great at. But he's distorting while doing it. So he has to be relaxed enough in certain parts of his body to go whoa, and I'm going and I'm like, how is he like physically like this to get his distortion, but then relax at the same time? Again, as I kept practicing that, I kept recognizing how to keep certain parts of my body restricted and tight while other parts are relaxed. Once again, that's another great thing you're going to learn throughout your journey with all this, is how to keep certain parts where they need to be and how to relax. How do I continue to relax? That should be one of your biggest questions throughout all of your musical, journey. With guitar, drums as well. Listen to professional drummers talk about playing fast or playing hard for long periods of time. How do they do it? They learn how to relax. They learn how to do what they're going to do, and then they learn how to relax more of their body. Guitar players, you're going to play really fast? You can't be like this and fucking going really fast for like an hour. You need to learn how to relax certain parts of your body while other parts are going really fast and doing what they need to do. So at the end of the day, again, there's always more to learn with this stuff. There's always more you can push yourself outside of your comfort zone with and everything like that. Pay attention to your vocal health, your vocal longevity, your stamina. See what's giving your voice more power and more longevity, more of that strength. And what's kind of ducking your voice and making it feel more like, oh, Jesus Christ, that was too rough. And you'll start to know. And again, trying on other people's voices is a good, healthy thing to do. But at the end of the day, keep figuring out what feels like home to you. What feels like home? What can I turn on right now? If somebody said sing something, whoa, is very natural to me. And yeah, I might push it a little bit this way or this way, but at the end of the day, I didn't have to think much. I could feel that. I could turn that right on. So I appreciate you joining me. Teaching more on Patreon all the time. If you like this video, subscribe. I'm doing this stuff all the time. It's good to see you. I will talk to you soon. Have a good day. Okay, goodbye.